Welcome everybody to the Green Effect podcast. This is episode number 16, part 2 of having Phil and Roberta Snider on. They are, of course, owners of Personal Edge Training in Kitchener. So, episode 16, here we go. We're going to be talking about what the parents of teenage kids can be doing to get themselves and family fit, and it's all about making a change. Screen time and devices. What is the issue? How do we solve it? Hints and tips for families on nutrition. We're going to get into that Matrix ass story. And finally, and this is one of my favorite parts of our interview, we're going to talk about the top 5 list for their success for small business. And it's really great when you've got a business like this that's been active for so long, well past what other ones do. So without further delay, here we go with Phil and Roberta.
Welcome to the Green Effect Podcast. Finance, life, business, and everything in between. And now, your host, Stephen Green.
So, what could a younger person who, let's say a teenager, who kind of wants to stay fit and that sort of thing, they maybe don't have phys ed class as often or whatever.
Right.
What could parents do for people who for their teenagers and stuff like that could encourage them to get out there? Like what advice would you give parents?
I think, boy, I'm going to say this. It starts with setting a good example. It really does.
Yeah.
So, you can't tell your kid to do something that you're not willing to implement yourself. So you can't be sitting eating crap in front of the television and telling your kid to go out for a run or take the dog for a run and then come home and prepare them. They have to have vegetables and fruit and whole grains and a chicken breast for dinner. You have to be willing to make that change yourself. And I think that we're losing that. Mm-hmm. As you said, well, we still manage to eat dinner together once or twice a week. That's huge because most families, I'm going to say, don't take the time.
Yeah.
Don't make the time and take the time. If you plan it, it can be done. Mm-hmm. Right? Maybe not every day, mm-hmm. but that connection is super important. So I think that's the first place that I would start is, Mom and Dad, what are you willing to do in order to help make this change, a lifestyle change for your entire family?
Yeah.
Lead by example.
And if you do it, I think
to do it
like
together
else,
is so much easier.
They'll follow. They should follow.
Yes.
Right, unless there's other issues, but yeah, they should follow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
And I think
that's the biggest thing.
Having the conversation about moderation with respect to gaming, moderation with respect to how much screen time do you have on your device, on your laptop, on your whatever screen it is. Let's try to schedule in some time that you're not on a screen, that you're not depending on your device.
Yeah.
Let's cook together in the kitchen on a Sunday for an hour and a half or 2 hours together as a family. Yeah. Let's each night before we go to bed come together in the kitchen and prep all our lunches together.
Yeah. I'm nodding my head
time.
Quietly because I think of our family, and I mean that's stuff that we could be doing as well, right? Instead of the mad rush every morning or night to find where's the meal. No one took out chicken. Oh crap!
You're setting yourself up for failure. Take the time the night before, and you're going to find that you set yourself up for success. Mm-hmm. Yeah. To fail to plan is to plan to fail. So if you're putting a little bit of thought into it the night before, and cooking on the weekends, I like to call it cooking ahead on the weekends, one of the most magical things that you can do for your family with respect to nutrition, because you're not coming home with nothing prepared. So especially the protein aspect of it, but think about those things that are freezer friendly and cook ahead. Chili, spaghetti sauce. There's so many different things that you can make ahead of time and therefore just pull out of the fridge or the freezer. It's doing those things and doing them as a family though, because I'll tell you, our
It's
niece
very true.
lived with us for a short time, and she couldn't believe how much it helped her and her nutrition, and she learned so much about cooking and cooking ahead, so that when she moved out and went on her own and went to school, she now knows she has to plan for that stuff. She has to do that ahead of time. She can't just come home, open the fridge, and expect something to jump out at her. Eat me, yeah. So it's getting into those habits, but doing that, establishing that as a family, I think is super, super important.
Those are two big things, very big things.
It goes one step further too into almost the rock and hard place, where if you've got it pre-planned or pre-cooked, then when you do open the fridge, if there isn't anything there, if you didn't plan, what's convenient, what's available, what's in the seafood diet, where I see food and I eat food.
Yeah.
Right? And it's generally not as healthy or as good for you.
I was talking to another mortgage specialist about this, where new mortgage specialists struggle, and I was one of those guys too. You work 12, 14 hours a day when you start, because you're a new business, you're starting up, stuff like that. And the worst thing is, between 9 p.m. after your wife and kids go to sleep and 2 a.m. you're up working. Well, guess what you're doing at the same time?
Munching
You're
away.
snacking and stuff, because like, I got 2 more hours, man, whatever you can find, right? And that's tough. That's tough. It's almost like nutrition for new mortgage specialists. Like, as you were saying that, I'm thinking, yeah, I used to do that, right? And it's like, okay, 2 o'clock, and the worst part is the food's actually making you more tired. You know, they're like, I'm making this worse.
And then you have another coffee.
Yeah, right?
Right.
And then now now your body's just jacked, right? And now you've just screwed yourself the next day.
And not water.
Vicious cycle.
Yeah.
It really is a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
But one thing at a time, you know, if you don't try to correct everything all at once, because you'll fail. It's the whole resolution thing. I don't believe in it. Look for lifestyle changes, things that you can stick to, one thing at a time. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And then implement that for, say, a month or 2 months, and then introduce another lifestyle change. And honestly, you're not only doing yourself a world of change. It's just, there's so many benefits, but you're teaching your kids how to fend for themselves, how to shop properly, how to stock the cupboards and the shelves of the fridge with nutritious stuff, how to get out and get off of their rear ends and get moving every single day.
Yeah. You know what? I'm nodding my head. For anyone on YouTube that can see that, I'm nodding my head, and in my mind I'm thinking, yeah, I got a lot of freaking work to do, man. Like, you know, because we are your typical connected family, right? I mean, wife's upstairs in the bedroom, I'm maybe in the basement, and I'm texting my wife, right? Like, hey, want to meet me in the kitchen? We do kitchen dates at 9:30, and I go down there, and I'm like, all this is because I know, right? I talked to the new mortgage specialist, guys, don't snack between 9 and 2, right? And I'm going to the kitchen, and I start grab apples, so I'm good, right? I do that sort of thing, but yeah, we're your typical nightmare of, you know, and we're all busy and stuff like that, but. Yeah. You got me all thinking now. Now we're gonna make the show all emotional.
Here we are.
That's
We're on a roll. We're changing lives. Look at that.
That's right. Okay, funniest business story, and this is a public show, so people are gonna be listening to this. Just remember that, guys.
No problem.
Funniest business story. Go for it.
This one's on Roberta. It's with her.
About Roberta?
No.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
One of her clients.
So we have this one type of workout that we love to do, and it's a metabolic blaster type of workout, and it can be done at home, it can be done, you know, outside on the patio. It's very, very efficient and effective, and we call it the Matrix, and it's the brainchild of someone in the fitness industry by the name of Juan Carlos Santana. Anyway, the Matrix, you know, when we introduce it and we teach it to these people, we'll warn them, okay, tomorrow you're going to be quite sore, and maybe even into the next day, and maybe into day 3. Your rear end is going to be very stiff and sore, okay? And so we call that Matrix ass. And so we'll forewarn people, because honestly, it is quite intense, but that does subside after
Yeah.
you do it for a while. So this one time I was teaching this one client who happened to be a mother of a boy who played on our son Zachary's hockey team. And so after I had taken her through this, the next day or maybe 2 days later, we were going into our local arena here at Rim Park. And, you know, there's a long hallway that you go down to the very back rink. And I entered through the front doors, and from the back of the hallway, the far end of the hallway, I hear, "I've got Matrix ass!" It echoes up the hallway from this woman that I took through this workout. Yeah. And all of the parents that were standing in the circle around her as I approached had this confused look on their face. And she says, and she's holding her rear end, and she's like, oh. And so I get closer, and a couple of the dads are looking at me with very, very puzzled looks on their face. And they said, "What the heck are you doing with her that's giving her major gas?" And I said, "It's Matrix ass, not major gas." So, we had to clarify what that was all about.
That would be kind of weird knowing what your company does, and you're giving your cat, you got to give a better nutritional advice, apparently, with that problem.
Right. Absolutely.
The fact she was holding her rear end was just icing on the cake,
Absolutely.
Because they just couldn't figure this out.
Oh, jeez. Matrix, that could be a good marketing thing right there. If you want the best Matrix ass out there, right?
Well,
or a green pill or orange pill. Am I dating myself when I say that? Do you know what I mean when I say that?
Green pill,
or orange pill
yes.
off the Matrix, right? Oh, I know there's a bunch of people listening saying, "What is he talking about?" Oh man, you ever find yourself doing that? Yeah, you ever find yourself doing that same stuff?
That's on a daily basis.
Oh, brutal. Or I said to some Murphy's Law. Who's Murphy?
Who's Murphy?
Oh damn, getting old.
Bing, one more gray hair.
Yeah, right. So true. So true. Oh, that's good. I like that. Okay, top 5 list. So coming back to the business part, because you've both been so successful at this. Mm-hmm. Give me your top 5 tips for small business for their success.
I would say the first one, and probably number 1 in terms of priority, would be discover what fires you up. The word passion is being thrown around a lot these days, but it's for a reason. Because if you can make your job, make what you do every single day, get paid for what you're passionate about, what fires you up, you will not work another day in your life.
It's true.
There are not very many days in our lives that go by where we go, I gotta go to work.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah. Love what we do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is important. I talked about this earlier. It's you can have so many things that you're doing, but if you don't actually love it, just stop. I actually tell it to my girls on my teams.
I agree.
If you don't like this, if you don't like being here, it's okay. Leave. I'm not mad. Mm-hmm. Just don't be here if you don't want to be here. It's okay.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And I got to always explain, I'm not being a smart ass. I actually mean, if you don't like it, it's time to go. It's all good.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely. So number 2 is we learned a long time ago where we're really good, and that's out on our studio floor. Right? So we make sure that if there are things that we don't know, and there's lots, especially business related, we'll hire out. We'll outsource. Okay? We're not good bookkeepers. We've got a great bookkeeper and a great accountant.
Yeah.
It's those types of things that know what you're good at, be great at it. Don't just be good, but be great at it, and then spend your time there and get help with the things that you need help with.
So I just want to attest to that. Yes. And so, as you know, I've started up this new volleyball club.
Yes.
And I have that business mentality, right? Where it's, I'm not good at this. We'll pay someone to do it. And I'm not saying you go out there and spend money, but I have a guy that does our website. I'm not doing the website. I don't have time to do the website. I don't want to do the website, right? Just all bookkeeping stuff. Yeah, I got a lady who does my own personal bookkeeping. She's going to do this one as well. There's nothing wrong with that. And the previous guest to you guys were 2 accountants. And they said the way to avoid audit is have a bookkeeper and be organized. So
For sure.
double win.
Yeah.
You won't get audited on
Yeah.
your taxes, and
For
there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Absolutely.
true.
I'm sticking out with number 3 as well here. And it's basically don't let dollars be the only determining factor in your decision making. It's important.
Yeah.
It really is important. But we want to make sure, and this goes into what Bert's going to talk about in a sec, is number 4. But we want to service the crap out of our clients and make sure they know that we're great at what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And so they kind of fall in together, the service end of things. But it has to be, dollars have to be important to you. They definitely do. But don't make them the only thing.
Yeah, it's very, very true. It's very true.
Yep. So Phil had mentioned our 4th one, and it really has to do with the fact that we're in the service industry. Service then Phil has said it, service the crap out of people. Go above and beyond. Don't just do your job. Right?
Yeah.
Even if you're an employee of a company. Don't expect to get a raise if you're just doing your job, because you're getting paid to do that job.
Yeah.
Right? Go above and beyond, especially if you're in the service industry. Shock your clients.
And it comes back to loving what you're doing,
Yes.
Really does.
because you're not going to go above
Yeah.
and beyond anything.
You've got it.
You hate being there.
Yeah, real quick example. Recently, within the last week, Bert got a huge hug, thank you, profusely in our office, which happens constantly. But we used snail mail to send a sympathy card to somebody who they had to put their dog down. Exactly what Bert's talking about.
Yeah,
Like, who does that?
it's true. It's very,
Take the
very
time to
true.
handwrite a card and throw it in the mail, honestly,
Yeah.
but it shows that you care,
Yeah.
that you took
And
the time to do that.
You know that they are people. I don't know if that's the right way to put it.
Yeah.
But it is a human process. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like it's
You're
it's not an email,
That's right.
right?
It's not. And that's why snail mail now, mail through or Canada Post, is something that people say is the way to go, to let what used to be common is not common anymore. So when you do it, it shows that you have care for your clients. And
Yeah.
it's another way to service.
Yeah, it's true. I send out thank you cards and birthday cards.
Love it.
It's just something, and I've seen them posted on Twitter or Facebook. Hey, I got this from my mortgage guy. Cool.
The fact
Still
that he
works.
remembered, right?
Yeah,
That you took the time.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would say number 5 would be, if I were to hire somebody for anything, I'm going to look for the best. And then I'll consider price, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm not going to look for, oh, this person does a mediocre job. Right? They're good. No, I want great. I want fantastic. I want outstanding. I want the best. Right? So it doesn't matter what you do for your job. If you are just doing a good job, then think about what people's perception of your work is. That you're just good.
Yeah.
Just good. You want to be great at everything. Anything that you do and everything. Whether you're a student, you're an athlete, you've got a career, you're an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you strive to be fantastic, you will be. Yeah. And Phil reminded me of a Henry Ford quote. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're probably right.
Yeah.
So apply that to your business life, apply that to your work life, apply that to your career, and you can do anything.
Yeah. And it's funny because I know my wife, Tracy, will sometimes get frustrated because I get an idea. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, on my year off, I'm starting up a volleyball club. Yeah. But everything's got to go full out where it's, I want it to be the best in this regard and the best in and this is what we want to deliver, you know, and kind of setting that brand, which you have both clearly done, right, with your business. Same thing on the mortgage side, you know, you want that perception, you know, how do other people view you? You know, when you're in business, that's critical. You know, you want people to view you that way, right? I mean, unless you're in a different type of business, fair enough, right? There's discount this and discount that, but
you're still excellent at what you do.
Yeah, true.
You're the best darn discount place in town.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so true. Yeah, that's great. I love that top 5. That last one though, that's so important. Mm-hmm. You know, because I see some of these new mortgage specialists come in too, and it's trying to kind of lead them a little bit and say, hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you try that? But do it well. Do it more than well. Do it exceptionally well, you know? So it's a big difference. Very, very big difference. So excellent. Well, thank you so much.
You're so
you know,
welcome.
you are, I'm proud to say that not only do you know, partner with me on the volleyball side, but, you know, your business has just done so well, you know, and that's why I wanted to have you on, because I know that there's that part of it as well. And some of the things you've said, I mean, I got to go home now and reschedule our lives so we can get some damn good food into us. But I'm starting to think, oh man, I got some work to do. But you know, even
you know where to find us.
I
when you
do.
Need help.
You've been away too long.
I have. I
Steven,
know. I have. Don't worry, that's gonna change now, boy.
We change lives, my friend.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So. So shameless plug time. How can people reach you? And we're going to put this up on the screen for the people on YouTube. So sure. What's the best way to reach you?
info@personaledgetraining.com is our email address. If you'd like it to come directly to my email box, then it's Roberta, Robert with an A on the end, at personaledgetraining.com. If you'd like to speak in person, which we love, we don't get a lot of phone calls anymore. People choose email, but we love speaking directly to people on the phone. So 519-576-7688, and that's Personal Edge Training.
And you're right at Victoria and King.
Correct.
Beside what is beside you? There used to be a coffee shop. I know it changes every year.
It's a
big
19-story condo.
No, but there used to be a coffee shop right there on the corner between you guys and Ziggy's is the other way.
No, we're in the Ziggy's Cycle building.
Right, but wasn't there a coffee shop there?
There was, but it's gone.
What is it now?
It's called. It's
Is it something else?
It's
something
an
else?
office space.
Oh,
yeah,
it's
just office space.
Oh,
but the where you went, you said you went for a massage and chiropractic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still there. That's directly beside us on one side, and then we have a hair salon on the other side of us in the unit. There's 5 units in the building. 6 units, sorry, in the building.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, and there's parking. I know there's parking there.
There's parking.
Which is an issue always in downtown.
Yeah, it's
right?
fantastic. No, we've got designated parking.
Good. So. Good.
Also, one last thing, they can go to a website, personaledgetraining.com.
Okay.
We'll get you
there.
And
your website's good too. I like your website.
Thank you. It's going to get even better.
Getting better. It's getting redone. And
is it?
Yeah. Video, content.
Again.
Lots of exciting stuff.
Very good.
And outsourcing.
I know a web guy. I'm all with that. It's all good. So, again, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Our pleasure.
So, well, that wraps it up for this episode. And until next time, we'll talk to you soon. Well, that's a wrap with Phil and Roberta. Thanks for listening again to the Green Effect podcast. Again, you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook, RBC Stephen Green, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Green Effect podcast. Subscribe to this podcast on iTunes or Google Play so you catch the next episode. And don't forget to leave a review. Much appreciated.